Continental drift theory, a background. I have already made short notes on these, but now I am following them because it's never enough to confirm that you know every single thing about a single topic because syllabus is wide. That's why I'm making long notes too of continental drift theory. सो कॉन्टिनेंटल ड्रिफ्ट थ्योरी का बैकग्राउंड यहाँ पे दिया है कि कॉन्टिनेंटल ड्रिफ्ट थ्योरी वाज फर्स्ट इंट्रोड्यूस्ड इन 1912 by Alfred Wagner. He was a German meteorologist. Number two, when he gave his theory, there was a lot of questions ongoing in academic circles, like whether the crust is permanent and non-changing. क्या जो क्रस्ट है हमारे, जो धरती का ऊपर वाला भाग है, लिथोस्फेयर है हमारा, वो परमानेंट है और नॉन चेंजिंग है, या फिर जो क्रस्ट है वो डायनेमिक है, चेंज नहीं होती है और परमानेंट है? दो बार एक चीज़ लिखाई है, क्या है? एक मिनट, नॉन परमानेंट, मैंने गलत लिखा है, थैंक गॉड, ये भी नहीं चल रहा। नॉन परमानेंट एंड चेंजिंग, टाइम टू टाइम क्या हमारी क्रस्ट है वो चेंज हो रही है, जैसे कि समय के साथ हम देख सकते हैं जो कॉन्टिनेंट है वो एक तरह से मूव कर रही है। नहीं, मेरे को अभी ये नहीं बोलना चाहिए था, ये आगे आएगी बात है। हाउ टू क्रस्ट फॉर्म, जो हमारी क्रस्ट है वो बनती कैसे है? विच क्रस्ट वॉज फॉर्म्ड अर्लियर, कौन सी क्रस्ट पहले बनी थी, जो ओशनिक क्रस्ट है वो, या फिर जो कॉन्टिनेंटल है, जो हमारी कॉन्टिनेंट की क्रस्ट है वो बनी थी पहले? वाई देयर इज वॉल्केनिज्म, अर्थक्वेक, माउंटेन्स ऑन क्रस्ट, धरती पे क्या बोलते, वॉल्केनो को क्या बोलते थे हिंदी में, ज्वालामुखी क्यों है, ज्वालामुखी क्यों फटता है, ज्वालामुखी बनता कैसे है, वॉल्केनिज्म यही है पूरा, बनता कैसे है, अर्थक्वेक क्यों आता है हमारी धरती पे, जो हमारे क्रस्टर्स पे भूकंप क्यों आता है, माउंटेन्स हमारे क्रस्ट पे क्यों, ये क्वेश्चंस अराइज हो रहे थे अकेडमिकली। कमर्शियल ऑफ कोल के बारे में बता रहे हो. डेड वेजिटेशन जब अंदर कंप्रेस हो जाती है अर्थ की thousands of years due to the compaction and क्या बोलते हैं compaction, pressure and high temperature, the vegetation starts to, नाम भूल गई मैं फिर से क्या बोलती थी उसको. I really need to read more. नोट्स अच्छा पढ़ ही लें फिर. नोट्स तो बनाए हैं मैंने. Fossils, marine fossils. नीचे दर्द क्यों. Ouch. और मेरी लेफ्ट आर्म में लगी बड़ी और दर्द. मैंने कुछ किया. Maybe I should pull out my sharp notes. It's taking me way too much time. And I don't have any energy. I don't know why. Oh wait, I don't know. Cramps. Rocks पकड़ रही हूँ. कॉन्टिनेंटल करंट थ्योरी यहाँ पे यार, प्लेट्स इंटरेक्शन इम्पोर्टेंट एविडेंसेस प्लेट टेक्टोनिक्स। यहाँ पे कॉन्टिनेंटल मैंने आधा किया है। Okay, these notes are so pretty. What happened to my writing? Convergent plate boundaries. अरे भाई, safe load spreading theory, दो तीन टॉपिक तो ऐसे ना जो साथ में चलने चाहिए। रिफ्ट वेल्स, रिफ्ट कॉन्टिनेंट डाइवर्जन, ये हाँ ये भी है। एविडेंसेस ऑफ प्लेट टेक्टोनिक थ्योरी, लेकिन अभी कॉन्टिनेंटल ड्रिफ्ट थ्योरी की बात कर रहे हैं, ये इसकी बात की बात है कॉन्टिनेंटल ड्रिफ्ट थ्योरी। क्योंकि ना सबसे पहले दी थी वैगनर ने, वैगनर के बाद और आए थे, क्योंकि हर चीज़ कॉन्ट्राडिक्ट करती है साइंस में। एक साइंटिस्ट कुछ और बोलता है, एक साइंटिस्ट कुछ और बोलता है। बिलीव करते हैं हम प्लेट टेक्टोनिक थ्योरी पे दी है, कॉन्टिनेंटल ड्रिफ्ट थ्योरी पे दी है, जो करंट वाली है कौन सी करंट थ्योरी, हाँ उसमें बोलते हैं जैसे कि हमारे को पता है एस्थेनोस्फेयर में है जो मैग्मा है, उसके जो कन्वेक्शन करंट नहीं हो रहे हैं वो बाहर निकल रहे हैं, उसकी वजह से शिफ्ट हो रहा है, ऐसा था उस थ्योरी में। बट बात की बात फोकस ऑन कॉन्टिनेंटल drift theory of Alfred Wagner. Alfred Wagner, a German meteorologist, put forth the continental drift theory in 1912 to explain the distribution of ocean continents on Earth. It was the first step in the direction of studying the interior of the Earth. According to Wagner, all the continents formed a single continental mass. Everyone knows that very famous Pangea. Okay, surrounded by a mega ocean called Panthalassa. He argued that around 200 million years ago in, अभी इसके बारे में बताना पड़ेगा, ट्रायसिक पीरियड के बारे में। देयर इज़ ऑल्सो वन थिंग अबाउट अर्थ, हमने अर्थ के जो टाइम लाइन है उसको डिस्ट्रीब्यूट किया एपॉक्स में, एरास में, पीरियड्स में, एंड वन ऑफ दीज पीरियड्स एरास यू कैन से देयर इज़ अ ट्रायसिक पीरियड, वो भी करेंगे। हर एक चीज़ किसी ना किसी चीज़ से कॉन्ट्राडिक्ट करती है, तभी तो बोला एकदम से जंप नहीं करना होता है एक टॉपिक में। The supercontinent Pangea began to split. It first broke into two large continental masses, Laurasia and Gondwana land, forming the northern and southern components respectively, with a sea called, कैसे बोलूँ इसको, that is sea in between them, and I know I pronounced it wrong, so I'm searching it. Dude, why can't I speak? पूरी सैटर्न्स मून। ओके, सैटर्न के मून का नाम भी यही है। शाबाश। मैंने भी सिंगाम की बस, मुझे मेरे को सोना सूट करता है। ये ब्रिटिश इंग्लिश है, मेरे को समझ नहीं आया। Happiness बोल रही हूँ। Why there is so much emphasis on TH and it sounds like F. In between them, subsequently, Laurasia and Gondwana land continued to break into various smaller continents that exist today. सबसे पहले तो है ना, एक ही सुपर कॉन्टिनेंट था जो पेंजिया था, ठीक है। पेंजिया सराउंडेड था पूरा ओशन से, जिसको पेंथलासा बोला हमने, ठीक है। He argued that around 200 million years ago, 200 million year ago में ट्रायसिक पीरियड के दौरान जो सुपर कॉन्टिनेंट था वो टूटना शुरू हो गया था। जब वो टूटा तो वो लॉरेशिया और गोंडावना लैंड में बट गया, ठीक है, फॉर्मिंग नॉर्दर्न एंड साउदर्न कंपोनेंट्स। नॉर्दर्न एंड साउदर्न कंपोनेंट्स इस तरह से बने उसके, ठीक है। विद अ सी कॉल्ड, एक सी बना, उसका नाम मैंने बोलूँगी। इन बिटवीन देम, उनके बीच में बना। मैंने यहाँ भी किया हुआ, हे भगवान, मैंने भी देखा ही नहीं, मैंने तो मैं पढ़ ही रही हूँ, मैंने भी करनी है बात। I know I am doing this wrong. I'm trying. Driving force for continental drift, Wagner suggested that the moment responsible for drifting of the continents was caused by pole fling and tidal forces. Tidal forces I know, but what is pole fling? The pole flaying force is due to the difference in the centrifugal forces created by Earth's rotation at the equator and the poles. Pole flaying force. Okay, मैंने लिखा। Laurasia, Gondwana land was drifting, continued drifting continental movement, tidal forces, buoyancy, gravitational force, buoyancy. Okay. Alfred Wagner paved the way for future geographers to explain the dynamic nature of the Earth and the formation of the landmass on this planet. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ना, एक चीज़ होती है, क्यूरियोसिटी होती है। जो क्यूरियस माइंड है ना ह्यूमन को, वो सोचता है और तब प्रश्न उठते हैं। उस प्रश्न का उत्तर ढूंढने के लिए पूरी ज़िंदगी लगा देता है आदमी, और उसी जो उसने फाइंड किया थिंग, उसी को काउंटर करने के लिए और आ जाते हैं। इसी तरह से हमारे को चीज़ों का पता लगता है। मेनली ये काम हमारे साइंटिस्ट ही करते हैं। सो वैगनर के बाद भी बहुत होने दिए। और इसको एविडेंस को सपोर्ट करने के लिए भी ये दी हुई थी। कॉन्टिनेंटल शुरू तो हुई ना, कितना लंबा है ये। वही है ना, जो इंडिया का पार्ट है, अफ्रीका का पार्ट है, उसके जो लैंड मासेज हैं वो उनके जो टुकड़े टुकड़े कर जोड़ेंगे तो लगता है कि एक ही कॉन्टिनेंट से बने हैं वो। और वहाँ का जो थोड़े सोर्सेज है और वहाँ के सोर्सेज हैं, वहाँ की जो मिट्टी है, वहाँ हमारे यहाँ की मिट्टी है, वो मिलती जुलती है। तो इसी तरह से सोचते हुए एक तरह से थिंकिंग है उनकी, उनने एविडेंस दिए हैं, लेकिन ये सॉलिड प्रूफ नहीं है, ठीक है। द प्रूफ इज़ नॉट सॉलिड, दैट्स वाई इट वॉज काउंटर्ड। यहाँ पर ड्रॉबैक्स दिए हैं। फोर्सेस आर नॉट सफिशेंट इनफ टू मूव सच बिग लैंड मासेस। जो हमारी फोर्सेज है ना, सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फोर्स, दीज आर नॉट दैट मच बिग फोर्सेज। सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फोर्स एक तरह से वीक फोर्सेज ही बोल सकते हैं हम, नॉट वेंट्रिकल। tidal forces are attraction of the moon and the sun, of course, ये ओशन में होती है क्रिएट, बट ये भी उतनी ज़्यादा फोर्स नहीं है जिससे इतना बड़ा लैंड मास, इतना बड़ा कॉन्टिनेंट इससे मूव करने लगे। सो जिग्स ऑफ इट मर अ कोइंसिडेंस, कोस्टलाइन इज सब्जेक्ट टू चेंज। कोस्ट लाइन चेंज होती रहती है, जिस तरह कैसे बोल सकती हूँ, जो हमारे तट है ना, उनकी जो मिट्टी है ना, धीरे 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 एक तरह से बोल सकते हैं वेदरिंग की वजह से वो टूटती रहती है। तो जो कोस्ट लाइन है वो हमारी चेंज होती रहती है। द थ्योरी वॉज बेस्ड ऑन मैनी एजम्पशन, ये सिर्फ कहानियों पे खड़ी है ये थ्योरी पूरी। ऐसा बोला, एरर्स इन दिस थ्योरी रिलेटेड टू फॉर्मेशन ऑफ माउंटेन्स एंड आइलैंड। इसमें ये इस थ्योरी से ये पता नहीं लगता है जो हमारे माउंटेन्स हैं और जो हमारे आइलैंड हैं वो किस तरह से बने हैं। Wagner could not explain the trigger mechanism of the rifting of continents. उसने ट्रिगर मैकेनिज्म नहीं बताया कि किस तरह से आखिर हुई कॉन्टिनेंट ड्रिफ्ट करना स्टार्ट हुआ, ये नहीं बताया। Buoyancy force responsible for flotation metal dense crust light। बात है ना, जब टीचर पढ़ाते हैं ना तो ऐसा लगता है कि बिलीवेबल है थ्योरी की, पहली थ्योरी तो सही होगी, लेकिन बीच में उसको काउंटर करने के लिए जब सर ने एकदम से ड्रॉबैक्स लाया तो बोला हाँ ये तो पॉसिबल हो ही नहीं सकता है, फिर कैसे हुआ। उसके बाद और थ्योरीज लाई, कन्वें हाँ ये जो है कन्वेंशनल करंट थ्योरी। एस्थेनोस्फीयर में हमारे कन्वेंशनल करंट होते हैं। अगर अब कन्वेंशनल करंट क्या होता है, डेवलपमेंट इज डन ड्यू टू द डेंसिटी डिफरेंस कॉज्ड बाय द टेम्परेचर। यू नो ये इतना इम्पोर्टेंट टॉपिक और इतना मस्त टॉपिक है ना, इसको डीप नहीं पढ़ेंगे। वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। अगले जन्म में लड़का ही बने भगवान। एक तो इतने छोटे बनाए मैंने, यार इससे ज़्यादा इसमें चीज़ें। Geographical feature of sea floor spreading theory, tectonic activity leads to divergence, landforms, trenches, mid-ocean ridges, Natural hazard volcano. Ever just die? इसको बनाने दो, मैं कल ही कर दूँगी इसको। नहीं, हाँ, the tidal force is due to the attraction of the moon and the sun that develops tides in oceanic water. This explains the westward motion of the continents as the earth rotates from west to east, so tidal currents act from east to west. Okay. तुम्हारे को मैं यहाँ पे लाते हूँ। चलो बोर होते हैं, तुम्हारे को नींद भी आ जाएगी। Evidences in support of continental drift theory. Fit of continents. The shorelines of Africa and South America facing each other have a remarkable and unmistakable match. A map produced using a computer program to find the best fit of the Atlantic margin was presented by Bullard in 1964. Rock of the same age across the oceans. The radiometric dating methods developed in the recent period have facilitated correlating the rock formation from different continents across the vast ocean. The belt of ancient rocks dating back 2000 million years from Brazil's coast matches those of Western Africa. The earliest marine deposits along the coastline of South America and Africa are of Jurassic age. This suggests that ocean did not exist prior to that time. Tylite. It is a sedimentary rock formed out of deposit of glaciers. The Godavna system of sediments from India is known to have its counterparts in the 6 different landmasses of the southern hemisphere. But the question is, sediments travel through air, through water, so they can be deposited wherever they want to be. Because air carries them, right? Air can carry weight. मैंने तो अभी नहीं सोचा इस बारे में. Southern hemisphere at the base, the system has thick tylite indicating extensive and prolonged glaciation. It is a thing. Counterparts of this succession are found in Africa, Muscat, Antarctica, and Australia. Besides India, the glacial tylite provides evidence of paleoclimates and also of drifting of continents. Placer deposits. They are deposits of sand and gravel in the bed of a river or lake containing particles of valuable minerals. The occurrence of rich placer deposit of gold on the Ghana coast and the absolute absence of source rocks in the region is amazing fact. Is an amazing fact. The gold bearing deposits are in Brazil, and it is obvious that the gold deposits of Ghana are derived from the Brazil plateau when the two continents lay side by side. I might have to watch the video again. Distribution of fossils. When identical species of plants and animals adapt to living on land or in fresh water are found on either side of the marine barriers, a problem arises regarding accounting for such distribution. The observations that lemurs occur in India, Madagascar, and Africa led some to consider a contagious landmass Lemuria, linking these three landmasses. There are many different kind of species found everywhere. It doesn't have to be just on one continent, right? Mysosaurus was a small reptile adapted to swallow brackish water. The skeleton of these are found only in two localities, the Southern Cape province of South Africa and the River Formation of Brazil. The two localities presently are 4,800 kilometers apart with an ocean between them. Criticism of continental drift theory. Lack of mechanism. Wagner could not provide a satisfactory mechanism to explain how continents moved. His formulation of pole flaying force and tidal force as the scholars rejected the driving mechanism. Ignored ocean currents. Wagner's theory mainly focused on the movement of the continents and it did not adequately account for the behavior of oceanic crust. crust था currents था. सिर्फ कॉन्टिनेंट के क्रस्ट के बारे में बात की लेकिन ओशन के पास भी तो अपनी एक क्रस्ट है. ओशन थोड़ी ऐसा कि पानी पानी नीचे तक पानी भरा है. ओशन के नीचे भी तो एक ज़मीन है, वो कहाँ से आएगी, इस बारे में तो बात की ही नहीं. Geological evidence. Wagner relied on fossils and geological similarities between continents and paleoclimatic data which were considered anecdotal by. क्या है भाई इस वर्ड का मतलब? ओह शिट, मैं बंद कर दिया. a self reminder. Timing and rates of the movement. Criticism questioned that timing and rates of movement proposed by Wagner. They argued that the rates of continental motion he suggested were too fast and could not be explained by known geological processes. Continental rocks. Some critics noted that the proposed forces for moving continents would not be sufficient to deform solid continental rocks to the extent Wagner suggested. Segments of continental drift theory. Explanation of Earth topography. The theory of continental drift provides a plausible explanation for the arrangement of continents and the distribution of major mountain ranges, ocean basins, and other geological features. It helps explain why similar rocks formation and fossils are found on the continents and that are not widely spread. Oh my god, बात देख रहे हैं शॉर्ट्स शायद. प्लीज़ मेरी शक्ल बनाए, प्लीज़ मेरी शक्ल बनाए. मेरे को बंद करना पड़ेगा ये ना. मोटी दिख रही है अब. चुपचाप पढ़ो चुपचाप से. मैं कभी मोटी दिखूंगी, मैं कभी पतली दिखूंगी. तुम्हारे को तो यही बड़ी होती है, मोटा पतला मोटा पतला. Formation of supercontinents. The theory of continental drift suggested that continents have not always been in the current positions and have at times come together to form supercontinents, which then break apart and disperse. This concept has helped scientists reconstruct the position of the past supercontinents, such as Pangea, and understand the Earth's geological history. Plate tectonics. The theory of continental drift laid the foundation for the modern theory of plate tectonics. Insights into Earth's climate and evolution. The shifting positions of continents have influenced climate patterns, ocean currents, and the distribution of species over geological time. The theory of continental drift has contributed in our understanding of the paleoclimate, paleoclimate and the evolution of the. Okay. So I am telling you one more time कि मेरे को बकवास नहीं सुननी है. Continental current theory of Arthur Holmes. This theory, damn, and I believed this theory in a heartbeat. Seriously, I was such a fool, but it was pretty convincing to me. Conventional current theory, also known as mental conventional theory, was formulated by Arthur Holmes in the 1930s to explain the movement of Earth's lithospheric plates and the dynamic process that shapes the Earth's surface. The process of conventional current theory, the Earth's mantle is a layer of semi-solid rock beneath the Earth's crust. Within the mantle, heat is generated by the radioactive decay of elements, Because beneath the earth there are many radioactive elements found. We can see it in also groundwater. Sometimes uranium is found, right? So the contaminants, radioactive contaminants are there. क्या बोलते कहाँ थी मैं? हाँ. This heat causes the metal material to become less dense and therefore more buoyant. Buoyant से force की मैंने यहाँ पे लिखी थी, छोटी सी कहाँ गई हो. Force responsible for flotation. It is the force responsible for flotation. Because of this, our plates float. अब ये प्लेट्स क्या होता है ये भी बताना पड़ेगा तुम्हारे को. फोल्ड्स क्या होते हैं ये भी बताना पड़ेगा. इसलिए नहीं एकदम से जंप कर सकते इन टॉपिक्स में. हाँ, skip it. The heat generated in the mantle creates a process known as convection. Hot, less dense mantle material rises upward, upwelling बोलते हैं उसको, while the cooler and denser material sinks downwards, downwelling. जिस तरह से आप अगर पानी गर्म करते हो ना, जो कूल होता है, कूल वाटर होता है, वो नीचे आ जाता है क्योंकि वो लेस डेंस होता है. जो हॉट, रुक जाओ, नो कूल होता है मोर डेंस. जो डेंस होता है वो भारी होता है, भारी या नीचे आ जाएगा. जो गर्म पानी है वो होता है आपका हल्का. इट इज़ लेस डेंस, सो इट विल कम अप, and that's how the convention works. Okay, these forces continue to move in like that in circle. Okay, so that's how convention works. अब हमारे जो अर्थ के नीचे मेंटल है वहाँ पे हॉट मैग्मा होता है, राइट? दिस मैग्मा in which hot, less dense material rises upward, we will call it upwelling, while cooler, denser material will sink downward and we will call it downwelling. This convention is a key driving force for the movement of the Earth's lithospheric plates. इसको बोलेंगे हम, ये जो कन्वेंशन चल रही है ना, ये बोलेंगे हम की ड्राइविंग फोर्स. दिस इज़ द की, दिस इज़ द, मैं एक ही चीज़ रिपीट कर रही हूँ. तो मूवमेंट ऑफ अर्थ होती है लिथोस्फीयर की प्लेट्स की हमारी, ठीक है? जो हमारी अर्थ की प्लेट्स हैं, क्रस्ट की प्लेट्स, जिससे कॉन्टिनेंट्स बने हुए प्लेट्स. The Earth's lithospheric plates, which make the outer shell of the Earth float on the semi-fluid asthenosphere beneath the crust. The upwelling and downwelling of conventional currents influence the movement of the plates in the mantle. Convection currents are responsible for the motion of tectonic plates where upwelling occurs. It can push the tectonic plates away from the mid-ocean ridge, divergent boundary. ओशन में अगर हमारे को ऊपर ऊपर से एक छोटे छोटे जैसे दिखते होंगे, थोड़ी क्रस्ट के पार्ट मतलब ऐसे निकले होंगे, जो एजेस बोलेंगे उसको क्या बोलेंगे? हाँ, उनको बोलते हैं मिड ओशन रिजेस. यार ये भी इम्पोर्टेंट है बताने के लिए. चलो बाद में. Creating a new crust. This will create a new crust. In contrast of downwelling, can pull a plate into subduction zone. Subduction zone. Suppose this is continental crust, this is oceanic crust, and subduction is this moving of the crust due to downwelling. Okay, it will subduct, it will go down this. Okay, मैंने ज़्यादा अच्छे से समझा सकती हूँ अभी. The movement of plates at plate boundaries create geological features such as volcanoes, mountain ranges, and deep ocean trenches. Damn, I'm so bad at this. It also generates earthquakes along fault lines where plates interact. It can generate earthquakes, volcanoes, mountain ranges, deep ocean trenches. Criticism of Conventional current theory. Simplified models. Conventional current theory often relies on simplified models and assumptions to describe complex real world phenomena. While the models are useful for the conceptual understanding, they may not capture all the nuances of natural convention process. This is the thing. This theory was too simple for me to understand. That's why I just caught on it. Okay, I thought this was it. This theory is the correct theory, but it was not. It is very simplified. It cannot actually grasp on all the phenomena that is occurring due to the plate moment. Criticism of ये तो हो गया simplified model. It is simplified. Lack of direct observation. In many cases, convention currents are inferred indirectly rather than directly observed. For example, the movement of the material in the Earth's mantle is inferred for, from seismic data and geological evidences. Seriously, if someone's wrong, please don't see me. Please don't see me. Okay. They saw me. They saw me. They saw me. They saw me. Did they saw me? They saw me. They saw me. They saw me. They saw me. God, I thought they saw me. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God. Thank you. Where was we? Where was I? Sorry. Where were we, Yoga? Lack of observation, viscosity, and rheology. The behavior of the material undergoing the convention convection depends on their viscosity and rheology properties. Our understanding of rheology of materials in the Earth's mantle or contexts is still evolving, and their properties can vary with depth, temperature, and pressure. One thing I know is viscosity. It is the flow of the fluid, okay? So I don't know about rheology. I have to see it. The role of other mechanism in some situations, convection currents may not be the sole mechanism responsible for the observed phenomena. Other factors such as shear forces, compression, and deformation can also play significant role. Transition zone. The behavior of convection currents at transition zones, such as the boundary between the Earth's mantle and the core, is not fully understood. ट्रांजिशन मतलब अगर ट्रांजिशन के बारे में पता होगा, लो एनर्जी लेवल टू हाई एनर्जी लेवल, उसी तरह से अलग अलग लेवल में हम जैसे जाते नहीं, उसको ट्रांजिशन बोलते हैं। इसमें बोल रहे हैं कि कोर्स से अगर मेंटल को जाएंगे, हमारे को अभी तक पूरी तरह से इसकी समझ नहीं है कि किस तरह से जो हमारे जो कन्वेक्शन करंट्स है ये बिहेव करते हैं अकॉर्डिंगली, ट्रांजिशन जोन के अकॉर्डिंग। नॉन, क्योंकि जो हमारी आउटर कोर है वो भी लिक्विड है, अगर पता ना हो तो। In some systems, the behavior of material does not follow simple Newtonian fluid dynamics, making it challenging to apply traditional convection model. Newtonian is that where the simple law of physics, suppose क्या बोल रही हूँ मैं, सीधे बोला, the simple law of physics है ना, जो नेचर के साथ अकॉर्डिंगली जाते हैं, वो है न्यूटोनियन लॉज हमारे। and other laws are the quantum laws that are not applicable. Sometimes they are not applicable. The natural law that the Newton has suggested, okay, the gravitation laws. So sometimes these convection currents does not behave like Newtonian fluid. So non-Newtonian fluid comes in picture. I will repeat again. In some systems, the behavior of the material does not follow simple Newtonian fluid dynamics, making it challenging to apply traditional convection models. Thermal variability. Thermal, मैंने फिर से बोला, thermal is equal to the temperature. Okay. If something is attached with thermal, then it is related to temperature. Variability is changes. The temperature variations required to drive convection in some systems, such as the mantle, are not well understood. Temperature variation required to drive convection in some. Stop it. Transition. I was saying transition zone. Transition. Okay. Don't care about like. I am already going to delete this. Significance of conventional current theory. Plate tectonics explain the motion of Earth's lithospheric plates. Key to understanding earthquakes, volcanic activity, and mountain formation. As you can see, each theory has given its own benefits, okay, but it is not the one we believe in. There is also significance of the continental drift theory. There is also a significance of convectional current theory, and I am telling you the significance of convectional current theory. Plate tectonics explain the motion of Earth's lithospheric plate. It actually explains it, why it moves. Number two, key to understand earthquakes, volcanic activity, and mountain formation. Weather patterns essential for understanding weather systems and phenomena. Drives atmospheric circulation and the formation of thunderstorms and clouds. Heat transfer fundamental for heat transport through fluids. Key in thermodynamics and fluid dynamics. Energy generation and transfer utilized in heating cooling system for efficient energy transfer. Environmental sciences affects ocean circulation impacting climate and marine ecosystem. crucial for assessing and migrating environmental changes such as ocean warming. Seafloor spreading theory of Harry Hess. Hello. Convection Convectional current theory is done and continental drift theory is done. Mid ocean ridges के बारे में देख लेते हैं एक बार. The presence of mid ocean ridges themselves is a key observation. The underworld. No. Earthquake seismic 999. Earth's magnetism. ऐसा करते हैं ना. क्या पढ़ें? हेलो. पता नहीं मैं क्या कर रही हूँ. Origin of Earth पढ़ते हैं. विद नोट्स भी कर लेते हैं. This won't take me anything, but it is indeed important to read about it. Introduction. The chapter discussed the significance of Earth planet formation, contrasting the formation of terrestrial planets with the formation of Jovian planets. It emphasized the hypothesis. Okay, introduction को काट देते हैं, कुछ important नहीं है. Origin of the Earth. The origin of Earth is a complex and fascinating topic that is intertwined with the broader story of the universe formation. Theories about the origin of Earth have evolved alongside the study of astronomy and geology. These theories help to comprehend Earth's place in this universe and the dynamic process that shaped its formation. Theories explaining the formation of the Earth. The Nebular Hypothesis by Immanuel बोल देंगे इसको कि क्या बोलेंगे. Immanuel Kant. Okay, Immanuel Kant. Thank God मैंने छोटे नोट्स बनाए. Earth formation. No, solar system. ओके, इसमें मैंने थ्योरीज ने लिखी है. Immanuel Kant, an 18th century German philosopher, introduced a revolutionary idea about the origin of our solar system. He proposed what is known as the Nebular Hypothesis, which suggests that the system began as a massive cloud of gas or a nebula that collapsed under the force of gravity. Nebula it is a large cloud of gas and dust in space, often serving as the nursery of new stars and planets. Gravitational pull is a force by which the planet or the other body of the object towards its sun. Okay. Now then, there's one thing about nebular hypothesis I really don't like. Where did this from where did this nebula come from, huh? मतलब अपने आप ही कोई गैस का क्लाउड आ गया और बाद में ग्रेविटी के अंदर लोग चल गए सारे डस्ट पार्टिकल्स उसके हैं. It is really impractical what he had said. But at least he raised the question, and that's how Big Bang theory come into existence. This is the beautiful thing about science. A question is raised and everyone criticizes it. Shortcomings: lack of collapse mechanism, angular momentum distribution. The hypothesis was unable to explain how the planets, rather than the sun, currently dominate the distribution of angular momentum within the solar system. Lack of a collapse mechanism. Kant failed to clarify what led the nebula cloud to collapse and form the solar system, a critical step in the formation of planets. How did the collapse happen? He just said the force of gravity, under the force of gravity. The Tidal gravitational theory by James and Jeffries. Sorry, James and Arnold Jeffrey. Tidal or gravitational theory offers an alternative explanation for the formation of solar system. According to this theory, our solar system is formed when a passing star's immense gravity grabbed a cigar-shaped filament of gas from the infant sun due to its gravitational pull. Let's see. Okay. This filament broke up, condensed, and formed the planets, with Jupiter and Saturn arising from the thickest part. Okay, this is bullshit. इनके हिसाब से सोलर सिस्टम कैसे फॉर्म हुआ है, एक जो स्टार था जो कि बहुत ज़्यादा इमेंस था, ठीक है, जिसके पास ग्रेविटी बहुत ज़्यादा थी. If the mass is huge, then the gravity is also huge. G is equal to m1 m2 by r square, right? So an immense star grabbed a cigar-shaped filament of gas from the infant sun. When the sun was infant, the immense star grabbed a cigar-shaped gas, and the filament broke up, condensed, and formed the planets, with Jupiter and Saturn arising from the thickest part. इसमें एक चीज़ बताइए, tidal force are the different. Tidal forces are different from gravitational force, we know that. It says forces that one body exerts on another, which can stretch and distort the latter body. It can stretch and the distort the latter body. Shortcomings. According to B B11, it's the name. The universe is limitless in space and time, and the stars are so far apart that such a close encounter is unlikely. Moreover, the theory is considered Im- improbable by many given the vast distances and height relative excuse me vast difference distances and high relative speeds between stars, which makes such close encounter rare. How can someone even believe this? I am thinking that सिगार ही फूक रहे होंगे करते वक्त तो पक्का. वेल हाँ तो क्या बोलते हो. हाँ ऐसा ही होगा कोई सोलर सिस्टम सिगार. ओके मे बी उनके लिए बहुत बड़ी अचीवमेंट होगी सोचना. इट डजंट टेल एनीथिंग अबाउट. ओके Laplace Nebular Hypothesis. This was actually very cute theory. Interstellar gas and dust. Laplace gave a more complete explanation of for how solar system came to be. He said that the planets formed from ring of materials that separated from a rotating nebula. Kant's theory did not go into much detail about how planets formed. This hypothesis is a fundamental concept in understanding how our solar system came into being. Number 1. The process of making solar system formation according to Laplace. According to Laplace, a nebula, the primordial cloud of gas and dust, begin to collapse due to its own gravity. The nebula has its own gravity and it began to collapse. Okay, this collapse result in the formation of a spinning disk. The nebula, the cloud, start to collapse into a spinning disk with a dense mass in the center, which ignited to form the sun. Now, the spinning disk has a dense mass at the center, which formed sun. The rest of the material in its orbit gradually clumped together. The planets clumped together. Okay, matlab, the material clumped together in order to form the planets. The shortcoming. Um, Angular momentum issue. Laplace failed to adequately clarify why the sun, which contains the majority of solar system's mass, 99.8% mass, sun ने खा रखा है फिलहाल. Solar system mass rotates slowly and has less angular momentum than the planets. Okay, Sun has less angular momentum than the planets, and Laplace failed to explain why so. Because it has the most gigantic mass in our solar system. I don't know how to explain it. The consistency of direction. According to the hypothesis, all the planets should rotate in the same direction as the original nebula and have mostly circular orbits. It does not, however, account for anomalies such as Venus retrograde motion and Uranus tilted rotation. Now, one thing about our solar system, Uranus has its axis tilted like this. Our Earth's axis is our Earth's axis is tilted like this. However, the Uranus is like this. It rotates like this. Our Earth has a anti-clockwise motion in its rotation, and Uranus has Uranus or Venus it has clockwise direction of rotation. Yes, Uranus has, and also Venus. ये अपने ही हैं दोनों सोलर सिस्टम में. Now then, Howell's theory, supernova hypothesis. Fred Howell's supernova hypothesis represent a dramatic origin of our solar system, suggesting it was born from the ashes of colossal stellar explosion. Okay, birth of supernova remnant, red giant, supernova explosion, supernova remnant. Okay. This theory offers a narrative where the solar system is the direct consequences of a life cycle of stars. Okay, first of all, we have to talk about the red giant. When a red giant life cycle, life cycle ends, it can be created whether into a black hole or it will have a supernova explosion. Okay, that's how a life cycle of star ends. ये तो चंद्रशेखर लिमिट भी समझानी पड़ेगी. तो कितना लंबा सा है, बस यही जान लो. ठीक है, रेड जाइंट है, सुपरनोवा एक्सप्लोजन होगा तो सुपरनोवा रिमेनेंट रहेगा. दैट्स हाउ ही सेज दैट आवर सोलर सिस्टम was created. Shortcoming, evidence of a nearby supernova. One of the main complaints is that there is no direct proof that a supernova happened close enough to the protosolar nebula to have changed its formation without scattering it completely. Isotope abundance issues. Okay. Wells' theory predicted that the certain isotope would be present in the solar system as the result of supernova nucleosynthesis. The predicted abundance of the isotopes, however, do not always match the observed values in the material of the solar system. Isotopes, isobars, with the same atomic number but different atomic masses. Think. Stop. I can't. Oof, so many theories and at last Big Bang. Okay. I don't know how to pronounce it. Interstellar dust hypothesis for planetary formation. Otto in 1943 introduced the interstellar dust hypothesis, offering a unique perspective on solar systems formation. He envisioned the solar system as originating from a vast cloud of dust and gas drifting in interstellar space, which later became the building block for the solar system's planets. Merit. It solves almost all the problems of the peculiar characteristic features of our solar system, like near circular similar planes of orbits of the planets, revolution in the equatorial planes of the sun closely matching with the orbital planes of the planet, placements of the planets according to their size on the basis of well founded laws. Highly high density planets in the outer circle of the solar system. Large and peculiar distribution of angular momentum among the planets of solar system. I don't know how. The theory is not explained in this. It is just saying that there was a vast cloud of dust and gas drifting in interstellar space, which later became the building block of our solar system planet. It does not give me the whole explanation of the theory. Maybe it's not important according to the syllabus, that's why. Okay, Chamberlain and Moulton's theory of planetary formation. Thomas Chamberlain and Forrest Lee Moulton proposed the planetesimal hypothesis, which centers on the exertion of भगवान क्यों मेरी परीक्षा लेते हो आप as an explanation for the formation of planets. According to the hypothesis, the solar system's planets were thought to have formed from a collision between the sun and another star. This concept was a significant advancement in the late 19th and early 20th century, refining our understanding of planetary genesis. Chamberlain and Moulton proposed a theory of planetary formation involving close encounter between the sun and the other celestial bodies. What is the mechanism for the Chamberlain and Moulton theory? It's formation of the planets for the solar system. Okay. Holy shit. It's important. I don't know. Okay. So in this theory, they said our sun collapsed with another big star and formed our solar system. So merits of this hypothesis. This theory explains how meteorites were formed and fell. It also explains why the orbits of small planetary bodies are highly elliptical, whereas orbits of larger things are almost circular. I don't get it. I don't get it. इसमें explanation नहीं बताया गया. It just says that, okay. There is no explanation here. Shortcomings. This theory failed to explain the massive passing stars which must remain in the close proximity to the sun. It was not able to explain why only 9 planets were formed. 9? 8. Dwarf planet को मत करो count. There are only 8 planets. Uncertain initial exertion process. The hypothesis does not specify a mechanism for the initial accumulation of dust and gas into प्लेनेटेसिमल. जो एक्चुअली होता क्या है ना, मेरे को बोलना नहीं आ रहा है. ये होती हैं छोटी छोटी बॉडीज़ ना, जिनसे मिलके हमारे प्लैनेट्स बने हैं. ओके, आई एम हैविंग अ हार्ड टाइम टू प्रोनाउंस थिंग्स एंड दिस इज़ रियली एम्बैरेसिंग, आई नो. My tongue always slips. No matter how much I read, it slips. Maybe I should put on an accent. Angular momentum distribution. The hypothesis fails to account for angular momentum distribution of the solar system. The planets contain the majority of the angular momentum, while the sun contains the majority of the mass. the sun should have spun faster as it contracted according to the conservation of angular momentum, but it rotates very slowly compared to the momentum of the planets, which the Planetesimal's hypothesis does not adequately explain. And seriously, why can't I pronounce it? Russell's binary star hypothesis. Now, there is a binary star hypothesis. In 1937, Russell and Littleton, it is actually Littleton, proposed the binary star hypothesis. This theory explains how the Earth came into existence. It explains that the Sun was not the only star in the beginning, and that there was another star 2,900 million kilometers away. Well, this theory this theory matches a bit. This theory also says that there was another star, and this theory also says there was another star, but it gives a specific distance between them, that is 2,900 million kilometers away. This hypothesis posits that our solar system architecture resulted from an extraordinary cosmic event, which is close encounter with another sun. Close encounter with another sun, यहाँ पे collision बोला है. I don't know the difference between these. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Collision is टकराना. Sorry. टकराना. And it is saying that they collided and become one. This is saying that they collided and near collision. This is a near collision. According to this near collision, okay, strip material from the sun, leading to the formation of the planets. In this theory, the both stars are merging with each other, and in this theory they collided. Primary, secondary, base center. As they come closer and closer, they start to merge, and there was a rapid rotation. And after the rapid rotation, relativistic jet, क्या बोलते हैं इसको? According to Rapusha, the binary star system is a system of two stars that orbit a common center of mass bound by their mutual gravitational attraction. Okay, I will repeat this line again. ये important लग रही है. The binary star system is a system of two stars that orbit a common center of mass bound by their mutual gravitational attraction. Merit क्या है इसकी? What was the advantage of this theory? This theory solved the problem about the planet's distance from the sun, which was not clear in the previous theories, and also explained the planetary system's large angular momentum. Shortcomings. Critics argue that the probability of such a close and precise stellar encounter is exceedingly low. Number 2. The theory also does not give a good reason for the planet's ordinarily almost circular orbits, or the fact that their makeup is similar, which point to a more even and peaceful beginning. So suggesting the sun has a oneness about the Okay, now finally the Big Bang Theory, the formation of Earth. So no. The Big Bang Theory describes the origin of the universe as a singular event approximately 13.7 billion years ago, when all matter was condensed into a small ball with infinite density and intense heat, known as singularity. This singularity began expanding, leading to the universe as we all know it. Now, singularity. This singularity that was supposedly they say there was a singularity again 13.7 बिलियन ईयर्स अगो बोला मैंने, लेकिन ये सब अर्थ हुई है 4.5 मिलियन अगो ईयर्स आई नो बताया। तो सिंगुलैरिटी को एक्सपेंड करने में देखो कितना टाइम लगा। सबसे पहले सिंगुलैरिटी थी वो हमारी बहुत ज़्यादा डेंस थी, एक सिंगल पॉइंट था ये, a very small point, and it was really dense. And if it was dense, रुक जाओ इसका ग्रेविटी भी इसमें इनफाइनाइट थी, ये भी सोचने वाली बात है। वेट अ मिनट, इफ इट वाज ओके ठीक है, सही है वाली थ्योरी, क्योंकि यहाँ पे पूरी एक्सप्लेनेशन ये मस्त वाली। Singularity, point of singularity, 13.8 billion years ago. Infinite density, infinite temperature, intense gravity. Because it was random, the whole universe was merged in a single point. That's why it was so intense. That was that's why the gravity was so intense, it was so dense, and the temperature was extremely high. And after the big bang, inflation starts. Inflation पता है चीज़ों का बढ़ना. The universe starts to expand, and as it starts to expand, it starts to cool down. Okay, it doesn't cool rapidly but slowly. Okay, things occurred really slowly. After some time, temperature cooled down, energy was released, and then began to, because energy changed into mass, that is, energy changed into quarks, electrons, protons, and that's how they were introduced, okay, in our solar system. And it continued to expand more. Okay, universe is a hot soup of electrons and quarks now. And when it was hot soup of electrons and quarks, the whole scenario was opaque, means it was really foggy type. Foggy, no, it wasn't foggy, it was kind of blank. Now it continues to cool down, the temperature was decreased, and protons and neutrons come into existence now. Okay, the quarks, electrons, and neutrons emerged, and they created neutrons and protons. And after that, the temperature continues to cool down. Electrons combined with protons and neutrons to form atoms, the simple atoms, and the first elements that we know, hydrogen, helium, started to form. And now the universe starts to transparent, it becomes transparent, because we can see through them, hydrogen and helium. Before the formation of hydrogen and helium, the universe was opaque, and after more expansion, it cooled down further, and gravity makes hydrogen and helium collapse to form giant clouds. And now hydrogen and helium made the giant clouds of gas we know as nebula. Okay, and after the nebula, the planet starts to form. प्लैनेट की थ्योरी तो बता दी ना, क्या नाम था उसका, प्लेटिस, आई स्टिल कैंट प्रोनाउंस इट. ओके, नाउ बिग बैंग थ्योरी इज वेरी big. Already told you guys these things, I'm not going to repeat it. Because current technology does not allow astronomers to literally per black into the universe, but much of what we know about Big Bang theory is based on mathematical formulas and models. Astronomers, on the other hand, can see echo of the expansion. They are very, we know, क्या बोल रही हूँ मैं, एविडेंस है बिग बैंग थ्योरी के बड़े भारी. ठीक है, मेरे को अंग्रेजी में बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है, मैं थक गई अंग्रेजी बोल बोल के. ठीक, कॉस्मिक माइक्रोवेव बैकग्राउंड है हमारे पास. ठीक है, आई हैव ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू अबाउट दिस, एंड इफ यू डोंट नो देन आई गेस आई हैव टू मेक फिल वीडियो अबाउट इट. It is important to know how you were created, how the universe was created. ऑलमोस्ट सारे की किस तरह से अर्थ एग्जिस्टेंस में, बिग बैंग थ्योरी तो ये एविडेंसेस हमारे पास हैं बिग बैंग थ्योरी के बहुत सारे. छोड़ दो, एक कर दिया मैंने पहले भी कवर. Missions to study Big Bang Theory. NASA's Cosmic Background Explorer, Wilkinson Microwave Anisotropy Probe. It was launched in 2001. Was the second mission to study the cosmic background radiation. Well, interestingly, Einstein already predicted how it happened. What is space-time fabric? He already predicted it. He just didn't have the evidence to prove it. And now the evidences are being cleared through the high technology that we have. Can somebody tell me why I'm having such a sharp pain here? Only 6 people. I know it's boring. It's hella boring. Okay, ठंड लग रही है मुझे शायद. मेरे को बंद कर देना चाहिए. So, मैं डांस करने लग जाऊंगी. अभी मेरे से कुछ नहीं होगा. God, my whole body is in pain. Help me. I don't know why, but camera is not focusing. इसको पता नहीं क्या हुआ है. चलो बाय, बोलती हूँ मैं गुड नाइट. सुबह देखेंगे जो